Welcome to Often Pacing on Tab Radio Racing and Sport. Tim Walker will be joined by Matt Young and Oli Cownie as they delve into the form for today's Pinjarra harness meeting, as well as an early look at tomorrow's meeting at Gloucester Park. We are Often Pacing.
A very good morning. Welcome along to Often Pacing for this Monday, the 3rd of February. And we head into Friday night action at Gloucester Park. We've got a bit of a condensed show here this morning. Joey Suvaljko will be joining us very soon. So let's crack on and get into proceedings with a look at what happened last Friday night, as well as horses to follow and winners for today's meeting at Pinjarra, and also Gloucester Park's boutique meeting tomorrow with just the 6 races. Joining us like he does week in, week out, it is Oli Cownie. Very good morning to you, Oli.
Morning, Matt. Good to be on.
Having a look at last Friday night's action, 2 races that we'll mention. It was great to see full fields at Gloucester Park on a Friday night, 10 races with capacity at fields in each race pretty much. And the Trotters Cup was the feature and the marquee event for the Square Gators for 2025. Patch took out his second Trotters Cup for David Young. Aidan DeCampo driving. He came off the 30 metres. Previous year he was off 40. He was placed in the Trotters Cup in what could be looked at as a stronger field, and prior to that he was a winner 2 years ago in a fantastic fashion on that occasion. But gee, he went well, Oli, and I think many would say he would go a long way to seeing a better drive in a feature race.
Oh, absolutely. It was a fantastic drive, wasn't it? Really just kept all the dangers locked up until it was too late there. I think the third horse was pretty unlucky there, Sonny's Little Rose, but just the drive on Pats was fantastic. It's been a really good training effort to keep that horse going as well as he is and win another Trotters Cup at 8 years old, and he's won nearly 250 grand there, Pats. So he's been a fantastic horse for connections there, and he continues to race well, and his recent form's just been fantastic. So he really did deserve that win, I thought.
He's a mile from the 2400 to the 800 text through right now by Russell Betts, 159.2. So for a Square Gator to do that and be able to stick on it was a great performance, and he really had to dig deep late to hold off Nicky's Son. And as you mentioned, Sonny's Little Rose running up behind them was quite unlucky in the end, but it was just a great drive by Aidan DeCampo, and we've come to expect that from him in big races. He does drive very well, and he was able to hold off 2 of the absolute best that we've seen at around Gloucester Park for a long time, and Chris Lewis and also Gary Hall Jr. The free-for-all events, this was a really intriguing race, Oli, with the speed early from Penny Tiger. They pushed the button with him, tried to get to the top, were able to get in behind. Looked like he over-raced in the middle stages of the event and weakened on the way home. Swing Band, once he held the top, I think I wouldn't be alone in saying that it looked like race over, but Delvay Robin was the one that stepped up and was able to go over the top of Swing Band. Do you come away just a little bit disappointed by his performance going forward from that? He's had a few runs now, Swing Band, where he's sort of had excuses, but do you feel like he ran out of excuses on Friday night?
I think that's pretty well summed up there, Matt. I think he is a horse that has shown he can match it with the best, and he's a really, really high-quality horse when he is at his best, but I think he certainly had his chance there on Friday. Maybe if he'd gone a little bit quicker down the back and sort of not made it a sprint home, which might have suited Delvey Robin, who was up alongside, and he's a very, very fast horse. But I still think he had his chance there, Swing Band, and maybe needs to lift off that sort of effort to be figuring in any of the bigger races coming up. Penny Tiger, as you mentioned, he was pretty disappointing there, and is certainly back to the drawing board, I'd say, with him. Maybe first up, it might have been a better option to just sit him up and let him run home, but he over-raced badly there, and that'll be something they need to look at fixing potentially.
Yeah, absolutely right. And the Summer Series was well fought out throughout the evening. It was fantastic to see. Great to see Mark Norman get his first Metropolitan winner on Friday night with Blitzar in the final event. So that was great to see from a great family. Mark with parents, of course, Alan and Lynn Norman, who have been great supporters of the industry, and we send a cheerio out to Mark. And the horse, looking at the horse's record, Blitzar has been just had an injury issue and came back, and out of a mare by the name of Momentous, who was also related to a Group 1 winner called Misplaced, who the Normans had back in the 2000s, and related to Full Package and Our Golden Finale, and of course out of a mare that they've bred the whole way along. So it's a third-generation horse, and by On Golden Pond, out of On Golden Pond from back in the early 90s. So family tradition to be involved in the sport, and great to see, and well-deserved, richly deserved too. Wonderful family, the Norman family, so well done to them. Ollie, we need horses to follow from Friday night, and then we can get into the meeting today at Pinjarra.
I've got two for us to follow at Gloucester Park from Friday, and one from Albany as well for us. The first horse I had to follow from Friday was Torpedo Rock. I thought he was absolutely fantastic there, running into a clear third, beat fourth by a long way, Rakiro Raider there, who's not a bad horse himself as well. Torpedo Rock just really, once he let down, he finished off powerfully there, and I think he's racing really well at the moment. So if he's able to draw a gate soon, I think certainly in company like this, he will be very hard to beat there. The second horse I had to follow was one that I think has been going particularly well recently in Kinsabi. It was able to battle on really well there for third after sitting outside of Express Party and My Hammer Down, who are pretty smart horses in their own right. And Kinsabi was able to hold off at the pointy end, who had the softer run in the 1-1 there. So I certainly think Kinsabi can be winning a race very soon in that kind of company, in restricted win company. And then the third horse I had to follow was from Albany, American Monarch. I think there's a horse that has not had a lot of luck in recent times, and I've been following her closely. She's been getting the right run, and then she's just been dragged out of it at crucial stages. So I certainly think she's racing well enough. She's a horse that probably does need the right run in her races to figure, but I think if she is able to secure a good run and isn't dragged out of it turning for home, then I certainly think she'll be winning a race soon.
Okay, so those are the ones to follow for Ollie there. I'm throwing on top of that Torpedo Rock. I thought he hit the line really strongly on Friday night, and they got home in solid sectional. So he's just a really smart little horse, Torpedo Rock, and I think he can run into the money very soon and potentially win one. American Cruise was really unlucky. Thought the first up run was okay, but really liked the way that this horse went to the line bolting last start. Was beaten a long way, but that's where you find a bit of value going forward in the next start. Mr. Fantastic was brilliant from the breeze. He's mid-70s in the ratings, so I think he can find probably a more suitable race soon. But that was a really gutsy effort from the breeze from him. So Torpedo Rock, American Cruise, and also Mr. Fantastic. Pinjarra today, we've got 8 races. Where do we find your best bets?
My best, first of the best bets comes up in race 2. I think this is one we can just throw in multi. Spangled Fella, it was a really impressive return after what was a nearly, I think it was a 6-year spell, or must have been injury enforced. He's come back nice enough, and I certainly think he'll be improved off that effort fitness-wise. So even a short quota, I certainly still think there's some value there in this type of field, and we can throw that one in multis. The next one I had for us to have something on was in race 4. I thought Ghost Rider could likely find the front in this race and has been racing particularly well in recent times. I think Shahadi is a horse that's always been better when set up and save for one run at them, and she gets that perfect opportunity to follow a horse that likely rolls along in Ghost Rider, and I think Ghost Rider can prove really hard to beat there at a decent price at the moment. So happy to have something on that. And then the third horse I had was in race 6. I thought on the back of the stablemate, Blaze Coops could get the perfect run through here and potentially could get the last shot at Always Be Frank. And if that's the case, he'll certainly be hard to beat off what was a really unlucky last start effort when badly held up there. But I think she's a much better horse set up. So I think she gets the perfect setup here. So I'm with race 2, Spangled Fella, race 4, Ghost Rider, and race 6, Blaze Coops.
Okay, well, that's, look, I'm with race 2 as well. I fully agree, Spangled Fella, I thought would get the job done. I was hoping for a bit better, but I guess looking at him dropping in grade and his trial was good. I think he's probably around the right price, but I think you can nearly multi up the Melsop duo with race 6, number 6, Blazing Reactor. I thought it was a really good chance to be able to go back-to-back. This horse has got such a good turn of foot that it doesn't really matter where he sits. I think he'll be hitting the line in powerful fashion. So tipping Bob to have a good day. And then I Am Siam in race number 7, I thought had the draw advantage. Can push forward at the start, and I thought looks really hard to beat in race 7, number 3, I Am Siam. So those are the 3 for me. Spangled Fella to win, into Blazing Reactor to win, and I Am Siam around the $4 quote's a really good price in my opinion. So looks hard to beat in a maiden event. Let's move on to Gloucester Park tomorrow. Just the 6 races on the card, and where do we find your 2 to follow for tomorrow's meeting?
We'll kick things off in race 1 there at Gloucester Park on Tuesday. I think this is a race that will generate pretty good tempo in the early stages. Galveston Johnny's a horse that always likes to push forward at the start, and he does have very good gate speed. And I think that could set it up perfectly for Sid Strepo, who was a really impressive effort in the Lightning Laps last start. I think it is fraught with danger drawing form lines through Lightning Laps, but Sid Strepo's always been a really capable horse, and off the right tempo could certainly figure in this race. So I think he could be a really good each-way bet in that first race. And then the next one I had was race 3 in the Trotters race. I actually think Aldebaran Sundown could potentially cause the upset or small upset here over to win that Trotters Cup. I think Aldebaran Sundown is now getting fitter, will be 4th up in this race, and probably has the gate speed to get across to the lead in the early stages. And if that's the case, I think he'll prove hard to catch in this company. So I'm happy to be with race 1, Sid Strepo, and race 3, Aldebaran Sundown.
Yeah, I agree with you with Sid Strepo to an extent. I'm going against you, but I'm with you if you can catch that drift. Look, I like the way Strike Master hit the line on Friday, and I think if we really go through Strike Master's racing with a fine-tooth comb, he's racing really well, ready to win, and I think, he's gate speed's a little bit of a concern for my Rambo Rabbit. Looks potentially the leader with Galveston John having a bit of a crack, but I just thought Strike Master could lob handy enough to them from the draw, and it's going to be really dangerous. So race 1, I'm with Strike Master to go against Ollie's selection there in Sid Strepo, but I do agree Sid Strepo's last few runs have been really good, especially his last run over the Lightning Lap. And race 4, I was really keen on Star Casino. I thought he was dumped 3 wide with a lap to go, coming in fresh, had to stick on really well, and wasn't beaten far in the Northern Pacing Cup. He's coming off 60 metres, but he's got a good record at the standing start. Trigwell Road's got 20-metre handicap on him, but he beat Trigwell Road home last start from that same distance handicap. So, look, I think Star Casino is a really good bet in race number 4, number 6, Spyglass having his first standing start. I'm happy to watch him, but thought Star Casino was the way to go there. Race 4, number 6, and race 1, number 2, Strike Master. That is a look at both the meetings over the course of the next 2 days. Pinjarra with the first getting underway just after 12 o'clock, and tomorrow's meeting at Gloucester Park. 6 races, the first at 4:23. Ollie, thank you very much for your time. We'll chat again to you next week. Good luck and good punting.
Thanks, Matt. Looking forward to it.
On Tab Radio, Racing and Sport, this is Often Pacing.
Welcome back to Often Pacing. Remiss of me not to mention with Ollie, and apologies for that, about the Hunter Cup on Saturday night. What an amazing race, and how exciting for WA harness racing going forward to be able to see Swayze in the area of Gloucester Park with the running of the Nullarbor. It's going to be fantastic to see Swayze go around, but him and Leap to Fame were outstanding in their battle on Saturday in the Hunter Cup. So it was fantastic to see that race, one of the races of the year, no doubt, and the brothers fighting it out. So let's have a chat now to a man who's in just as good a form as Swayze, and that is Joey Suvaljko, who joins us on the phone now. Joey, very good morning to you.
Good morning, how are you?
Very well, mate. You're in good form. It must make the early mornings at Four Diamonds Pacing easy to get up when you're just bagging winners.
Makes it a bit easier. It doesn't help. Aiden and AJ always have a smart comment to say in the mornings.
Well, you'll be able to keep up with them soon, because anyone who works for Aiden needs to be able to keep up with his smart-ass attitude, that's for sure. Race number 3 today, you're driving Zwade. You've driven this horse a little bit lately. What's the thoughts going into this race with Zwade?
Yeah, he went good last start, which is that, I reckon, at 33 quarter early. made him like they got a bit hard to get over them late. But he's racing well. He hasn't got much gate speed to work with, so we just got to assess it there. But he'll be in the finish. I'm sure he's racing well enough.
Race number 4, Shahadi. It's a nice drive. Nice draw for her. Looks like you've got options from the draw. Have you got an indication of which way you'd rather go? Try and lead today, or do you look to take some cover?
Yeah, I'll speak to Luke today. My opinion was we try and lead. Yeah, I saw him at trials on Saturday. He seemed pretty confident in both of them. But I'll speak to him more. But I thought we'd try and lead.
Okay, so moving on to Barbados, who was a horse you've been driving a little bit lately too. Got out of the pack and finished saying well last start, finishing in the second place behind Longreach Bay. Is that sort of how you have to drive him looking at this race again today?
Yeah, he's also going well. He's been finishing off pretty good. He just sort of needs to find that race in that draw.
And Henrik Larsson second up. The run in the Northern Cup looked to be full of merit, so he's a pretty handy horse to be getting the drive on.
Yeah, Luke's keeping me afloat. Yeah, I saw them in my noms, and I was like, sweet, there's a couple more I can get, and then yeah, I'll speak to him later today. But he seemed confident again when I spoke to him at trials.
Tomorrow's meeting, you've just got the one drive. You're driving Minor Catastrophe. Is that a winnable race for her, do you think?
But I looked at it and I thought it was definitely winnable. And then I spoke to David at Bunbury on Saturday, and he thought if she gets the right run, and it goes according to plan, but she can definitely be up there in the finish.
Okay, so who's your best driver over the next 2 days?
I think I'm going to go with Shahadi from the draw. But I think everything I'm driving over the next 2 days, hopefully, I'm hoping that they're all going to go good. And
okay, well, you've been in good form, so it must be the new system has brought the junior drivers right into play. So you've been able to pick up plenty of winners for the month of January. It must be exciting to be able to get all these new opportunities.
Yeah, everyone keeps saying like, "Oh, you're in good driving form," but I think really it's just the new system that's helped me and given me better opportunities and better drives.
I do think you're actually in really good form, Joe. You're driving really well, so don't sell yourself short, mate. You also started working for Aidan DeCampo, and Four Diamonds Pacing have now moved their operation to the Hopelands region, Serpentine region. What's that been like working for Aidan, who's one of the more gifted trainers in the state?
Terrible. He's a terrible person. Don't come work here. No, he's all right. He's all right. He's pretty good. He's pretty cruisy, and he's not too hard on you. He's been nice to us when we had the late Albany meetings, and he's been pretty good.
Oh, well, that's good to hear, and hopefully he can continue the good form, mate. So, a lot of supporters behind you cheering on, and hopefully a few winners today, and can continue that on into the month of Feb. So, all the best, and thanks for your time.
Thank you.
There we have Joseph Suvaljko joining us here on Off and Pacing this morning. That wraps up the show today, a condensed show with obviously Ascot's meeting on today as well. But thank you everyone for tuning in. Good luck and good punting. We head towards Gloucester Park and Albany on Friday night as well for another big night of harness racing at both those venues. But for now, it's a very good morning, and good luck and good punting at Pinjarra today and Gloucester Park tomorrow.